Race number 2 rolls in here to Arizona Speedway as we get set for our second event of the third season of the NNSCRA Coors Light Truck Series. Now, last week, these drivers took an off week as the other two series, Pizza Hut X and Hershey's Cup, were at Phoenix International Raceway. We're still here in the great state of Arizona, but ready to go racing at this mile-and-a-half track. The track, very similar to a lot of your mile-and-a-halfs like Kansas, reminds me a little bit of Chicagoland, but this is definitely a track that also seems to cater to a long green flag runs and usually pit strategy, so will we see that in today's event? As on the pole position for today's race is going to be T Handley in the 07. Now, Handley trying to come off a struggling finish that he had back at Daytona, got involved in a very early wreck and ended up being able to battle back though for a 13th place finish, but certainly might have been one of those cars that had not gotten involved in a wreck, would have been able to get up there and win the race. So trying to build off that 13th place finish and get into the top 10 in points alongside of him is going to be the number 38 of H Alonso. Alonso finished out Daytona in the 31st position, so another driver that definitely trying to build off a little bit of a struggling run back at Daytona. Last week's winner was, of course, Andrew Miller in his second full-time season with Full Frontal Motorsports. He'll roll off alongside of his teammate there on the outside of row 3. As a matter of fact, you got 3 of the Full Frontal Motorsports cars starting up here. Stapleton starting 3rd, Henry Williams 5th, and the aforementioned Miller in 6th place. So we'll see what he can do building off his win from Daytona. Let's go down trackside and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
41 laps await us here today. Now let's give you your top 10 the point standings coming into today's race, presented to you by Blame Shelley Insurance. Points leader, obviously, as consequence of winning the first race of the season at Daytona, is Andrew Miller. Charlie Buxton is second in the point standings. He's 6 points out. 7 points out. It's a tie for third between Andrew Rich and Vince Almariego. E Barber, 9 points out, is 5th, and P Plourd right now with the best start to the season that he's had in the last 2 years. He's 7th in the points, 10 points out. The rest of your top 10 in points are Bobby Fraser, J Ciculli, Jake Galloway, and Tony Green. The top 10 in the points separated by 15 points coming into today's race. And out of those top 10 in the point standings, 5 are veterans, 5 are rookies. So a pretty even split there in terms of experience coming into today's top 10 in the points. So TJ Handley's Dodge, H Alonso's Ford, and then the Chevrolet of Nathan Stapleton make up our top 3 podium for the start of this race. Outside of row 2, Nathan Ormond in the 05, and then the teammates there in row 3, Williams and Miller. Here we go, getting ready to go racing here. Race number 2 at Arizona Speedway is green. Let's roll. Boy, the flagman took his time there, didn't he? Handley trying to get that inside momentum off turn 2. Alonso doing a pretty good job hanging tough on the outside line. But there you see the inside line will prevail going into turn 3. So Handley to the point. Battle for second. Stapleton going to take it. And now his teammate Henry Williams going to follow in line there as that inside line is definitely getting the momentum. A lot of drivers have started up on the outside line, starting to fade back, as J.J. Roberts now will move into the 4th position, but not for long. Here comes Austin Colano in the 10. Well, now he'll slide into 5th place. Battle for second between some teammates here, Stapleton and Henry Williams. Nathan Stapleton, former winner from last year, also was in the playoffs. Henry Williams, however, has not been to victory lane. As a matter of fact, now they came in, Full Frontal Motorsports did, with the same drivers from last season. Last season, Wyatt Walker and Nathan Stapleton went to victory lane. Andrew Miller winning earlier on this year at Daytona. So Henry Williams is the only driver out of the team now that has not yet been to victory lane. He wants to get second place from teammate Nathan Stapleton. Tries the inside line, but you see as the tires start to heat up, that outside line on the exit of the corner definitely gets the much better run and the better straightaway speed. Andrew Miller has found his way to the bottom of the racetrack, now slotted in the 8th position behind the Haas brothers. That's Matt Haas he's to the inside of, and there's Michael just ahead, currently in 6th place. Good run for the 28. Matt Haas finished 17th, or I'm sorry, Michael Haas, I should say, finished 17th last week or 2 weeks ago at Daytona. Matt Haas in 26th. This is the battle right now for the 5th position between Michael Haas and Austin Kolano. Kolano will hang on to the spot for now. Matt Haas currently in control of the 7th spot. Miller back there in 8th. And then you got Fury, Gamington, and Nathan Ormond completing your 9th and 10th. I believe we're under caution. Yes, we are. First caution of the day takes place here. And it would have been back on lap 4. I thought I saw the caution lights on, but I wasn't 100% certain, so I didn't really say anything. Because more often than not, I'm usually seeing things, and oh yeah, we had a wreck there in turns 3 and 4. Like it started in turn 3 and just developed over to turn 4, and I'm seeing some black smoke lingering on the apron, which means that someone is probably out of this race. Colin Lindsay on pit road, along with V Almariego in the 2. A couple of drivers that are Fords. Actually, no, I think Lindsay's a Dodge, now that I think of it. And it looks like Lindsay's out of the race, and I believe that Almariego just retired out of the race too. So it looks like 2 drivers at least involved in the incident up in turn 3. As TJ Handley leads the way, I'm kind of surprised with the pits open there. The drivers did not come to pit road, so maybe they are good to go the entirety of this race on fuel, although I would have thought, especially with the CTS physics, they might not be able to make it 41 laps. Maybe they're able to save. Maybe they can save here under this pacing to be able to make it the rest of the way. But for now, let's look back at a replay of what brought out the caution for the first time here today at Arizona. They got to find their way through this traffic. Jonathan Wong trying. Here comes Aiden Shepard trying to use the cars as a pick. Right now, the inside and outside line are both blocked up. Shepard is going to edge ahead just for the moment. Look at how the 7, after he got into this draft, look how quickly he's drafting with these guys. These guys might be up to speed. They just needed to have some drafting help, and this has brought a number of drivers right up into this pack as well now in the hunt for this win. Griffin Lynn is now up here. Riley Spurley-Tube is up here. Taylor Frey as well. First time we mentioned Ashland Boyd today. Only time we really talked about him was when he avoided that big wreck back on lap 1. Now he's up here in this group in the 14th position. They are 3 wide, 4 rows deep now here. And there's a mixture of drivers on the lead lap, a lap down on the tail end of the lead lap. This does not look like a happy situation, as it looks like Aiden Shepard's going to get away with the race lead. Looks like Lozano will probably move to 2nd. Smith to 3rd, that being Patrick Smith. Jake Smith moving into 4th, and 5th place now is going to be Kenny Johnson. Drivers up on that high line getting completely freight trained, and one of them was Logan Cloud in the 48 as well as Jonathan Wong in the 37. They lost a ton of positions because of that traffic. Battle for the lead, and it's over as quickly as it was on. Patrick Smith will go back to the front. Jake Smith follows in line. He'll move to 2nd. Laps ticking away very quickly here. Fortunately, we got out of that sticky situation, and there will be 3 laps to go as Patrick Smith hits the line. Jake Smith 2nd. Here comes Griffin Lynn. Thinking about 3 wide in a turn 1. There might have been some contact right there between the 41 and the 54. I think he forced his way to the inside, good Griffin. And now here comes the 28 of Riley Spurley-Tube. He's bringing Ashland Boyd along with him. All of a sudden, we're starting to see the Toyotas working up here to the front very quickly. Toyotas 1, 2, 3 on that inside line. Here comes Spurley-Tube to the inside line for the race lead. Ashland Boyd behind him, and Marty Johnson, who got kicked out of line freight train. Now he's back on that inside line up inside the top 5. Can they make it to the checkers without wrecking? Only time will tell as Boyd gets kicked into the middle groove. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Who's going to open up the season with a trip to victory lane? Not the pole sitter Logan Cloud. You see the 48 way back there. He's not going to be able to catch up. Tough break for him as That slower traffic really cost him a shot at winning this race. Griffin Lynn to the lead. Marty Johnson in second. Ben Crouch now up to third. And here comes Johnson with a big run down the back straightaway. Can he get to the left rear quarter panel by the time they get to 3? Yes, he can. And right behind him is going to be the 9 of Robert Henney. The 43 of Alex Lozano right there as well. The white flag will be displayed this time. Marty Johnson trying to hang on. I think that might be a teammate behind him in Robert Henney. Those schemes look similar. No, one's a Ford, one's a Chevy. Never mind. I thought Henney might make a move to the inside, but no, he gets kicked to the middle. Alex Lozano goes to the bottom. That allows Marty Johnson for the moment to have a reprieve out in front. But watch the 43. He's got the 28 behind him. Will they produce enough speed for one of them to be able to try and take the lead going down here into 3? Will Lozano make a move on Marty Johnson? He's there. He's looking. Johnson goes down to block. Can't do it. Here's Alex Lozano for the top position and potentially the win here at Daytona. Out of turn 4, he clears as Alex Lozano will come to the checkered flag. He will take the win here in the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. Lozano, a former Snickers Cup Series driver. That's right, Alex Lozano. I remember him back in the days of the Snickers Cup Series driving the #1 Bass Pro Shops car before it was taken in sole possession by Trent Dunham. And Lozano goes back to victory lane on this channel, taking the checkered flag in the first race of the second season of the Last of Us Light Series. The legendary 43 goes back to victory lane here at Daytona, and a big win for that team of Alex Lozano, a team that was up inside of the top 10 for pretty much the entirety of this race. Standing should be official as Lozano makes the move on Marty Johnson at just the right time, and nobody was able to get to his left rear quarter panel by the time they got out of turn 4 all the way down to the start-finish line in the tri-oval. Riley Spurley, too, will finish the day out in second. Robert Henney third. Johnson fell back to fourth after leading us to the white flag, and Griffin Lynn will finish in the top 5 in the 5th position. Ben Crouch brings it home 6th. Jonathan Wong in 7th. Kenny Johnson 8th. Aiden Shepard 9th. And completing your top 10 was Taylor Frey. Then it was Ashlyn Boyd, Patrick Smith, Jake Smith, Logan Cloud, and Colton Yo, your top 15. Your top 20 were Jack Halleck, Josh Drake, Benjamin Brieg, Philip Goldberg, and Chris Maley. Last car to finish on the lead lap was the 15 of Simon Bloomfield. 3 cars finished off the lead lap: Michael Conto, Peter Onjack, and Michael Whitman. And out of the race after a wreck that took place on lap 1 were the cars of Shane Vincent, Ryan Brommer, Dylan Farrell, Tim Gary, Al Lagasse, and Nicholas Wade. So, certainly it's going to be some good momentum for the 43. Question is, can they keep the consistency up in their quest for a championship in the upcoming 9 races? Only time will tell, but certainly a good start and a 1 in the win column for the 43 team of Alex Lozano. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We have shown your full fishing results, and these are your point standings headed to your next race of the Last of Us Light Series in 2 weeks at Chicagoland Speedway. But we got to finish out this race weekend. Pizza Hut X Series and Hershey's Cup Series action come to you live in the desert at the newly reconfigured Phoenix International Raceway. You won't want to miss out on that. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the SRA Offline Racing at its best. Colin Lindsay was battling here side by side with the 54 of Andrew Rich. Lindsay trying to build off of a poor performance a couple of weeks ago at Daytona where he finished in 29th. And there you just see, boy, I can't really fault either driver, to be honest. Lindsay came down, Rich came up, and apparently neither one were entirely clear on each other. Lindsay's going to go down into the grass here on the back straightaway, and I have a feeling I know how this is going to end up with based off of the direction of the skid marks up in turn 3. At this point, maintain about 170 miles per hour down through the grass. Truck's going to pick up a little bit more speed hitting this piece of asphalt right there. Gained about another mile per hour up to 171, and here you just see does not slow down. This was around the 25th position. So it's a wonder we didn't have more drivers involved. You can see a whole bunch of drivers were back there 3 wide. And there you see Lindsay's going to come up the track and just nowhere for Vince Almariego to go. What a tough break for the 2-car, or the 2-truck. Fourth in the point standings coming into this race, was trying to have a good run building off Daytona and gets just flat out taken out, to be honest, as an innocent bystander. Fortunately, both trucks stayed up on the outside line as everybody migrated to the bottom and was able to get through, so it was only a 2-car wreck, but you could see the black smoke erupting from underneath the Twizzlers Ford F-Series. We saw Lindsay's out of the race, so these two drivers, very early end to their night here at Arizona, and one driver that was struggling in points and one driver that was doing well in points going to find themselves in a bit of a situation heading into our upcoming next race here in the Truck Series. But for now, let's go back now for the green flag as we get ready to get things back underway here at Arizona. 1 to green signal has just been given as the field makes their way out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. 2 drivers out of the race at this point. Obviously, the 2 trucks that got involved in that wreck, Colin Lindsay and Vince Almariego. So Vince will probably fall outside the top 10 in the point standings, and not the kind of comeback race after a struggling Daytona that Lindsay was looking for. As it'll be T Handley, still the race leader. He's got N Stapleton lined up behind him in 2nd, Henry Williams 3rd, J Roberts 4th, and Austin Colano in 5th, Michael Haas and Matt Haas 6th and 7th. 8th place, Andrew Miller. Fury Gamington right now is in 9th. And completing your top 10 will be Nathan Ormond. Right now, the highest running driver that's doing well in the point standings would be Andrew Miller. Comes in the points leader, running in the 8th position. We'll drop back in a couple of laps and see where the rest of our top 10 in points are running. We already know that Vince Almariego, 4th in the standings, is out of the race. The green flag comes back out, and Nathan Stapleton was ready for it. He's going to get to the inside going into turn 1. Nice job of timing that green flag by Stapleton. He'll take the top spot. His teammate Henry Williams going to follow in line, and now Williams wants the spot. And J Roberts now up here in the mix for the race lead. See if Williams can get his teammate here off of 4. Stapleton probably going to try and battle back on the top side. Nope, tucks in line behind the 62. So Williams will lead the lap. And now Stapleton with the crossover going to try and go back to the top position. Good run for a couple of teams, a couple of their cars doing well. Full Frontal Motorsports has got Stapleton, Williams, and Miller up here. You've also got Flying Aces Racing with Roberts and Ormond, and then you've also got Haas Racing with Matt and Michael up inside the top 10. So a couple of teams doing really well here early on in this race as Stapleton going to very easily gap himself for the moment on his teammate Henry Williams by about maybe 2.5, maybe 3 car lengths. Let's drop back to this battle for 3rd place as now Matt Haas, former Hershey's Cup Series champion, is in possession of it. Rookies J Roberts and T Handley go at it for 4th, give it to Handley. Now it's teammates for 5th place. Roberts trying to defend against Nathan Ormond, and here comes Austin Colano looking 3 wide down into turn 1 for that position. He thinks better of it. They settle it back out to double wide. H Alonso battling back there in the 38, and then you've also got Gatlin Downey, good run for the 58 right now, as he's last time by was scored in 10th, but I think he moved up a little bit higher than that. Roger Ray in the 99 right behind him, and then here comes Preston Plourd, that 96, also trying to crack up into the top 10, as we got a battle now for, I believe that's 6th place between Colano and Ormond. Alonso and Downey now into this group as well. Colano will move by for the spot, move himself into the top 10, and Downey now moves into 6th. Move up front, see if anything's developed between the two teammates. They are nose to tail, and Henry Williams right on that left rear quarter panel coming off of turn 4 as these two continue to battle amongst themselves. Got a good battle back there for 3rd too between Matt Haas and TJ Handley, and they're actually side by side as well going into turn 1. Henry Williams to the lead. Handley will take 3rd place. So good battling up here at the front of the field, and also some pretty good battling going on all the way through this field. Mid-pack through the top 10. And I actually just looked back to see, this is the, I believe, the only time, I'm going to have to double check that, I believe this is the only time that the Coors Light Truck Series has run here at Arizona. I know that our defending winner is not in this field here tonight, Oriole Pollard. This was one of 3 venues where Pollard went to victory lane last year. Don't remember if we came to this racetrack back in season 1 or not. I don't think we did. I think it made its debut on the schedule last season, but just to double check. No, it actually was on the schedule back in season 1. And Jordan Lopez was the winner of that race. We'll see him in the Hershey's Cup Series race in 2 days' time. See how he does. Lopez was very close to winning last week's Hershey's Cup Series race at Phoenix before having to make a pit stop with about 3 laps to go. So far this season has been full frontal motorsports. Andrew Miller winning at Daytona 2 weeks ago, and right now they got 2 of their cars running 1-2 here in this race with Williams and Stapleton. Handley right now in 3rd place. Matt Haas solidly in 4th. Good battle here for 5th, though. You got Downey, Roberts, Gamington, and Preston Plourd. Good run for the 96 after he finished out last time out's race at Daytona in 6th position. Definitely a much different looking driver here this year after he was dead last in the points last season. 3 wide back here. That's Joshua Ciculli with Andrew Rich and Nathan Ormond. Ciculli, who finished 8th at Daytona last week, running well here. Here comes Tony Green as well. You see that Ford truck down that inside line. He finished 10th at Daytona 2 weeks ago. Michael Haas now makes the pass. There's H Sanchez in the 73. And this group's starting to catch this group of about 5 drivers, so this could be a really big battle from 5th place on back in just a couple of laps as we are nearing the halfway point of this race. And there's a good little pace truck. Don't know why we need to see him. Wow, Elijah Gordon really close there with teammate Roger Ray as Andrew Rich is falling back very quickly, getting caught in the outside line of a couple of 3 wide situations. Zach Winkle in the 90, his teammate Kolano running well, and now he's moving his way up towards the top 10 as well. Last time by was scored in the 16th position. Ciculli now on the back bumper of Nathan Ormond. Ciculli scored 14th. Ormond 13th, right now 12th. That is Tony Green. Good run right now for him. Former playoff contender from last year as Preston Plourd got dropped from 9th all the way back to the 11th position now, getting bypassed by Gatlin Downey, H Sanchez, and Michael Haas. Andrew Miller continuing to fight his way towards the front, now challenging J.J. Roberts. That would be for 6th. Gary Gamington right now in the top 5 and 5th place as Haas continues to run by himself, and T.J. Handley has run down the 2 teammates. He's gotten by Henry Williams for 2nd and now trying to get back out in front ahead of Nathan Stapleton. Handley started on the pole, led the first few laps of this race, got faded back though after getting ganged up on by Stapleton and Henry Williams on the restart. Now trying to get himself back to the top of the leaderboard. Looks like he will do so as Stapleton not only has to give way to Handley but also to teammate Henry Williams. Now Williams to the left rear quarter panel looking for the top spot, and if these drivers continue to battle amongst themselves, they may get reeled in. Matt Haas right now just riding behind them. He's about 2 seconds back. Then you got to go about another 2 seconds back behind him before you get to Gamington, Miller, and Sanchez running 5th, 6th, and 7th right now. Roberts in 8th, and right now the top 10 completed by Michael Haas. Preston Plourd under fire for 11th by Gatlin Downey and Tony Green. It looks like they will take those positions, so Preston will probably fall back to the 12th spot. Actually, I must have miscalculated because they were scoring Preston just moments ago in the 10th position, so I must have miscounted. This is actually a battle for 8th place. I thought it was a battle for 9th between these 2. And it looks like J.J. Roberts' tire wear starting to kick in. Just no grip up on that top line as Michael Haas literally blew by him for the 8th position. Miller running very consistently right now, wanting to make sure that he's going to have good finishes to build off his win at Daytona to make it into what would be his first playoff berth in the Truck Series. Nice run there for the rookie Fury Gamington out of Gardner Qualls Motorsports, that 47. The only one of those drivers that are up here right now out of that team. And they are closing in quickly on Matt Haas. We could have a battle for fourth very soon. Up here, this battle for the race lead continues to be hot and heavy. Stapleton, Williams, and Handley. Only one of these three drivers that has previously been to victory lane was Nathan Stapleton last year. There's still quite a ways to go in this one too. 16 laps to go as they just hit the line. Stapleton now with the lead, Handley in second, and Williams going to fade back a little bit there in third, but if the draft is anything to go by, if these two up ahead of him get side by side again, he will draft right back up to them and be back in the battle for this lead once more. Handley, whoa. Well, I guess it looked closer from that angle than it actually was. I thought he was actually right on the left rear quarter panel of Stapleton, but there was a little bit of breathing space, so he wasn't about to turn him. From this angle here, you really can't tell just how close that right front and the left rear really are, but there is actually some distance between the two of them when you look at it from the front view. Well, they weren't battling side by side, but Henry Williams definitely did draft back up behind these two, so Williams back in the middle of this. I'm also kind of interesting as we went back green, I think it was what, on lap 8? Lap 8 or lap 9, the question of these drivers maybe catching traffic. I mean, these drivers have definitely gapped themselves from fourth place on back, so with that being said, have they reeled in the tail end of the field? No other drivers were caught up in the wreck that took out V Almariego and Colin Lindsay, so no one would be damaged and off the pace, but could be some drivers that just aren't really running that fast. So let's see when the leaders hit the line here, just how far ahead the tail end of the field is. They're at the line now. Tail end of the field right now is Julio Cesar, and he was in the middle of the back straightaway. So a full half racetrack from the leaders to the last car on the lead lap. So definitely not going to be a factor, will traffic. But look at some of the drivers that are back here. Charlie Buxton, second in the points, is way back here. Right now scored in the 38th position, not the run he was needing. Jake Moss way back here. Moss had a pretty good run going, if I remember correctly, back at Daytona. Yeah, finished 12th. Right now he's running in the 35th position. Not the run he was obviously looking for. Got some battling here with Sebastian Cucalon and Tyler Deaver. Ace Garcia, 11th in the points coming to this race. He's way back here, currently scored in 29th. Easton Barber just ahead of him. I'm sorry, no, that's Caleb Farrell, actually. My apologies. There's Easton Barber. Barber right now back in the 26th position. 5th in the standings coming into this race. There's Bobby Fraser. 95 as they're 3 wide here. Oh, we got pit stops. Pit stops taking place, so this changes up everything. So forget anything I just said, because it probably doesn't matter. It looks like TJ Handley was the first of the leaders to hit pit road. Looks like the teammates stayed out. So Handley gave up would have probably been third place to come to pit lane and start the pit stops. Stapleton and Williams going to stay out another extra lap. So these two stayed out. See if anybody else stayed out. No, it looks like everybody else that stayed out with him came to pit road this time. Yeah, there's Green, Roberts, Ormond, Rich. They're all on pit lane. So the leads now, Henry Williams looks like he's going to come to pit road this time, and his teammate Stapleton's going to follow him. So we'll see if staying out those 2 extra laps is going to help these two to gain anything in terms of track position. I believe also staying out was Jesse Turner in the 12. He was up to 3rd, and now he's going to come to pit lane. And I believe he's the last of the cars. Oh no, Bobby Fraser also stayed out, as did Derek Hamill. So those 3 behind the 2 race leaders will now probably complete our cycle of pit stops as Stapleton pulls into the attention of his pit crew. So too does Henry Williams. There is Turner as well. So now we've got to follow the 92 and the 62, as it looks like it's a 2-tire stop for Henry Williams. Same for Stapleton, but Williams got out way ahead of his teammate. So it looks like the battle will be between the 62 and the 07, who just, I believe, hit the start-finish line. So can TJ Handley get by Henry Williams and get the race lead. Let's see where he is. There he is, just now in the back straightaway. He's going to at least pass Nathan Stapleton, but I don't think he's going to quite get up to Henry Williams just yet. As Williams hits the line, it will be 8 laps to go, so I was correct. These drivers could not make it the entirety of the race on fuel, but they apparently decided to take the green flag pit stop. If you think back, no, they still wouldn't have made it. If they had pitted back on lap 5, they still would have been about 2 laps short, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered if they come to pit road under our only caution. They would have lost track position anyway, so yeah, I can kind of see why they decided to stay out and not pit under that yellow. But as they come down to the line here, it's going to be 7 laps to go. It's Henry Williams with the race lead. Handley right now in 2nd. Stapleton's in 3rd. Battle for 4th. Right now, Fury Gamington has it. Matt Haas there in 5th wants it. Hillary Sanchez currently scored in the 6th spot. Good run for her. 7th is Andrew Rich. So nice comeback for him. 8th place right now is Michael Haas. 9th is Andrew Miller. And clear your top 10 right now, J.J. Roberts. Tony Green currently scored 11th. 12th is Preston Plourd. 13th is Austin Colano. 14th is it's Alex Tanker, rather. Daniel Bouchard now in 15th. Good run for him. We haven't talked about him all day. Roger Ray trying to take that spot as he scored 16. Jesse Turner in 17th. 18th is Bobby Fraser. 19th, Nathan Ormond. To complete your top 20 is 37 of T Tsang. Now trying to take 19th place. Good battle here for the 9th position. Roberts has it. Miller trying to take 10th place. Actually, that would be 9th place, actually, from Michael Haas. Roberts will hang on to 8th for the moment. Andrew Rich just ahead of them. Rich was fading back there before we had the pit stops, but definitely must have been a really good pit stop for that team, as he's up in 7th place. This battle continues on here for 4th. Gamington and Haas. Haas, a former winner from last season. Gamington in only his 2nd truck start. And what about... oh, we got trouble! That is Josh Drake in the 53 coming to a stop on the apron of the front straightaway. Is that enough to throw a caution, though? No, it is not. No caution. But trouble for the 53 out of Climber Tech Motorsports, as I don't know if he ran out of fuel or what, but fortunately was able to get out of the way. Henry Williams continues to lead. He had 3 seconds in hand between himself and T Handley last lap. Let's see what it is this time. Does it increase? Does it decrease? 3/10 more gain, 3.3 seconds from the 62 back to the 07, and then almost 6 seconds back to his teammate Nathan Stapleton, who now is in a fight for 3rd. Fury Gamington and Matt Haas have reeled him in, so a battle for the final podium position. So right now, barring any issues, Henry Williams might be going to victory lane. How ironic would this be that 2 of the full Frontal Motorsports cars go to victory lane last year with Walker and Stapleton, and the first 2 races of this season, the 2 drivers that didn't go to victory lane capture the first 2 checkered flags of the season, with Miller at Daytona and Henry Williams here at Arizona. The gap increased last lap again, over 3.5 seconds in hand. And even better news for Henry Williams is he will see the white flag this time by. Henry Williams finished out Daytona 2 weeks ago, I should say, 34th. So this not only would be his first win of his career, but certainly a big points boost after a very disappointing run at Daytona International Speedway. Down the back straightaway, almost 4 seconds in hand. He could coast from there if he wanted to and still win this thing. As out of turn 4 for the final time, Full Frontal Motorsports is 2 for 2 to start the season, and Henry Williams gets career win number 1 here tonight at Arizona. Not only does Full Frontal Motorsports go 2 for 2 to start the season, but what a dominating performance by a number of their drivers here tonight. Williams finishing with the win, Stapleton hung on for 3rd, and Andrew Miller following up his Daytona win with a 7th place finish here tonight. So 3 of their 4 entries finished in the top 10 here this evening at Arizona, and Henry Williams in his 2nd full-time season, I feel like this is a broken record from Daytona, gets his first career win of the Coors Light Truck Series. And it all came down, really, to that green flag pit stop. We saw Henry Williams with a very fast two-tire stop, got way out ahead of his teammate Nathan Stapleton, and also had a much faster pit stop, it appeared, than the 07 team of TJ Handley. We've got so many rookies in this series, but the veteran cream rises to the top, apparently, as veterans have taken the first 2 wins of the season. So Williams with the win. Handley started on the pole, was trying to go coast to coast, but he'll have to settle for a runner-up spot. Still a good run for him. This will probably move him into the top 10 in points heading next week. Nathan Stapleton, solid outing there in third. Those were the 3 that really were the strongest trucks of the day. One of those 3 was going to win this race. Matt Haas battled back for a great run in fourth. F Gamington will finish in 5th with H Sanchez and Andrew Miller 6th and 7th. J Roberts brings it home 8th. 9th for Andrew Rich. He kind of faded a couple of spots there in the closing stages from 7th back to 9th. And Michael Haas completes the top 10. So the Haas Racing drivers, that Toyota team, great run for both of their cars. Top 10s for both of them. Austin Colano will get 11th. Alex Tanker, great run for him in 12th. We really didn't talk about him today, and he had a solid outing. Preston Plourd, he'll stay in the top 10 in points with 13th place run. Roger Ray, nice job for him as he'll finish in the 14th position. And completing your top 15 will be Jesse Turner. Your top 20 were Tony Green, Daniel Bouchard, Caitlin Tsang, Isaac Nichols, and Wyatt Walker. So all 4 of the full front of motorsports cars finished in the top 20 here today, the lowest being the 13 trucks. You look down through the remainder of the finishing results, and I'm seeing a number of drivers that needed good runs to keep themselves in the top 10 in points, and they did not get it. Joshua Ciculli way down there, finishing in the 36th position. He was 8th in points. Jake Galloway finished 26th, and he was 9th in the standings coming to this race. Easton Barber, 31st driver that came into this race, 6th in points. And Charlie Buxton finishing 30th as he came into this race, 2nd in the standings, 6 points out of the points lead. And also another driver that finished out of the race is going to take a big hit in points. 4th in the standings coming in this race, Vince Almariego, dead last in today's event. But 39 drivers finished this race and on the lead lap. We had 5 laps down. Josh Drake, who had that problem on the front straightaway, still not certain what was wrong with his race car. He finished the race on pit road 5 laps down. And, of course, Lindsay and Almariego, the 2 drivers that brought out our first and only caution of the day, finished in 41st and 42nd. But that's going to do it here tonight from Arizona Speedway. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, to part of the crew today. We've shown you full feature results. These are your rookie point stands, your overall point stands. Heading to our next race, it'll be another off week before the trucks will be racing at another 1.5 mile track, D-shaped Atlanta Motor Speedway. But we finish off this race weekend with our Pizza Hut X Series and Hershey's Cup Series events, also here from Arizona Speedway. Will those 2 races also be fuel strategy races? Could very well be. This track is very famed for being a strategic race rather than a survival race. So we'll see you guys for those 2 events. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NCAA Offline Racing as Best. Henry Williams gets career win number 1 here tonight at Arizona Speedway.